kommen nun von einem Highlight direkt zum nächsten. Denn nun darf ich einen Mann auf der Bühne begrüßen, der bereits 3 Weltkarrieren hinter sich hat. Als Bodybuilder, als Hollywood-Superstar und als Governor von Kalifornien. Nun widmet er sich dem 4. großen Thema in seinem Leben, das ist der Umweltschutz. Und hier setzt er genau die Begeisterungsfähigkeit, die er ja hat, ein, um das Thema bekannter zu machen. Es ist für mich immer faszinierend, wenn ich diesen österreichischen Helden irgendwo bei seinen Auftritten oder einfach auf der Straße sehe, denn kein Mensch schafft es so sehr, die Menschen zu begeistern wie er. Wenn er irgendwo auftaucht, werden sogar starke Männer regelrecht ein bisschen schwach. Und genau diese Begeisterungsfähigkeit, die nutzt er jetzt, um sich für den Umweltschutz einzusetzen und das mit sehr großem Erfolg. Nicht nur in seiner politischen Karriere hat er sich eingesetzt, sondern auch jetzt danach. Er hat den R20 gegründet, um genau Lösungen zu suchen und Lösungen zu finden und endlich das Reden aufzuhören und etwas für den Umweltschutz zu tun. Ihr wollt ihn natürlich alle jetzt hier bei uns auf der Bühne sehen. Ich weiß, ihr wartet, ganz viele warten von euch nur auf ihn. Es ist sehr, sehr schön, dass sein Herz wirklich für den Umweltschutz schlägt. Bitte begrüßt mir mit einem großen Applaus den Terminator Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Danke, Barbara. Es ist wunderschön, wieder in Österreich zu sein, in meinem Heimatland, in Wien. Speziell für die beste Konferenz, die wir jemals hatten. Und ich möchte mich recht herzlich bei Bundespräsident Van der Bellen bedanken. Recht herzlichen Dank auch bei Bundeskanzler Kurz und bei Monika Landauer. Big hand to Monika Landauer. Danke vielmals, danke. Now we have here over 30 countries represented. And I have just heard from Monica that there are approximately 17,000 people here. So thank you very much for showing up here for this very, very important cause. Thank you very much. Thank you. You know, for me, it is kind of like deja vu. It's like I'm reliving my life in a way. Because when I was 20 years old and I became the world champion in bodybuilding, I wanted to promote bodybuilding all over the world. And people said, this will never happen. Because bodybuilding is terrible. Bodybuilding makes you stupid. Bodybuilding makes you a narcissist. You always look in the mirror and look at yourself. Bodybuilding is going to make you muscle bound. Bodybuilding is terrible for your health. You're going to die early. And you're maybe going to turn gay if you do bodybuilding. Well, now, for 40 years, as a matter of fact, almost 50 years now, I've been traveling around the world to promote bodybuilding. Look what happened. Now there's a bodybuilding gym in every single hotel in the world. Now there's bodybuilding training amongst the police officers, the firefighters, the military. There's rehabilitation centers with weight resistance training in the hospital. Now they find out that doing weight resistance training is the healthiest thing you can do for longevity. Now every athlete is doing bodybuilding, is weight training. All of a sudden it's the greatest thing in the world. But it took 50 years. And there's no difference now. There's no difference now with this environmental movement. I have all the patience in the world. When people say we can't do it, I say yes we can. Yes we can. All we have to do is, we have to work together. Because we cannot count and rely on the politicians. I've seen it firsthand. They all flew to Paris in 2015 for COP21, and they all sat down and they signed that they're going to reduce greenhouse gases all over the world. All the nations signed on, and they set certain goals. And now, 4 years later, Duh. 4 years later now, they figured out they didn't reach their goals. Most of the countries did not reach their goals. So they made empty promises. They were lying to you. This is a shame. As Edison said, a dream without execution is hallucination. And this is what they're doing. They're hallucinating about something that doesn't exist. And I tell you, in California, I was a politician one time. We made commitments. I said we're going to reduce greenhouse gases by 25%. And we met that goal 2 years earlier. Instead of 2020, we met that goal in 2018. And we said we're going to have 33% renewable energy. And now we have 50% of renewable energy in California. Every single promise that we made, we kept. So I know it can be done if there is a will. If there's a will. If those politicians really want to represent you, yes, they can. They can accomplish those goals. But maybe they're just wanting to represent the oil companies. Maybe they want to represent the car companies. Maybe they don't want to represent all of those other companies, but except you. But I think that we elect them to represent us. That's what this is about. So the way I see it is, it's no different than all the greatest movements in the history of mankind. When you think about the anti-apartheid movement in South Africa, it was not created. It was not the thing was not solved by politicians. It was people that rose up and that protested, that marched and worked together. And it was the people movement that solved that problem. The same is with the civil rights movement in America to give blacks the equal rights. That was also solved not by the politicians, not in Washington, but the people rose up. It was people power, grassroots. They had the power. And they finally fought it through. In India, the independence movement was not solved in Delhi. It was not solved by the politicians, but by the people. And so what I'm saying is that in the end, we will solve this problem also. I know we can if we all work together. People power. Let's not rely just on the politicians. Let's not just rely on government, but people power. That's where the action is. All of you, like Greta said. And thank you, Greta, for the wonderful speech. And thank you, Greta, for being here today. Just like Greta said, we the people have to work together on this, and then we can do it. So I'm counting on you. As I always say in the end, if you guys are supporting me here, if you're 100% behind me, I promise you, I'll be back. Thank you very much.